All right, we're here to watch the latest NickoNerd video, okay? This is the... All right, so NickoNerd released the initial video where for some reason they decided to show Tipster's wage information. No idea why. And revealed that he worked at a school. No idea why. Apparently that was known anyway, but just not widely talked about. Very strange. Then the second video was an update on that, where they were like, "Oh, I was ill. I'm chronic fatigue. I'm tired. I was beset by tiredness when I was recording my last video." So that wasn't great either. And they also decided in the last video that they were going to admit that the reason they were demodded by Tipster was because of an incident in which there was a 16-year-old in the Discord who was reporting being from an abusive home and feeling suicidal. And this individual decided, trans 16-year-old, and this individual decided to take the 16-year-old under their wing, offer them a place to live, offer them to come and stay. Said that this person, they were behaving unhinged and spamming chats. Tipster wanted to ban them. This person refused to ban them. So they've basically, you know, they're all in on this 16-year-old. They're all in on this 16-year-old. It's ride or die for the 16-year-old right now. Yeah, they're asexual though, guys, so don't worry. All right, they're asexual, so no concerns here. No concerns with this like 40-something-year-old person finding an abused 16-year-old online to be found family. So yeah, I think we're gonna just get into this. Start watching, see what they think. The second update video to the doxing video. Now I saw a little bit of it earlier, and I've heard some things, so I think this is going to be at least a little bit entertaining.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to my amateur garbage channel. As you've noticed, I am very rudimentary in my presentation, as I do not have an editor, and I'm not a perfectionist like many YouTubers. If you haven't...
listen, it's okay. I'm not an editor, and I'm not a perfectionist either, but we've essentially got the same setup here, but like, my whole thing is, like, I don't want to just dick wave here or anything, but it feels like with essentially the same budget and setup, I'm presenting things a lot better. It's just not to do with the not being an editor, not having loads of money. It's nothing to do with that at all. Your videos are just 40-minute segments of you rambling about how you've got fatigue issues. There's much bigger issues going on than the fact that you're not using Boris Continuum plugins on your fucking editing software, okay?
Immediately notice my headset is wired in because the Bluetooth connection decided to glitch and have some issues. If you're still here, obviously you're a huge fan of my previous video.
Also, yeah, no, let's just pull this up, okay? Now, I will say, in this video, they do say this is one of their nice shirts. This is one of the nice shirts. This is what they wear when they're dressing up. So it is understandable that they would reuse the shirt a lot. I like this hoodie for stream, but I'm a big fan of this hoodie, so I wear this hoodie on stream a lot. So I understand having recurring clothing. However, it is concerning that it is the same. I am now slightly worried.
Video, and you're welcome to continue watching if you're one of my biggest fans. I've had quite a few fans let me know their biggest opinions and criticisms.
It's not from 1995 though, because it's merch for some. What was it again? It's for some kids show, right? Yeah, it's some like animated kids show or something that's come out in like the last year.
Criticisms about that video, and in terms of that, yes, I did dox Tipster, and
Okay. So, hopefully there's going to be like some apology or like some like, oh yeah, I shouldn't have done that. I'm hoping, I'm praying, because it would be pretty crazy to just go like, yeah, I doxed this guy. I don't give a fuck. That would be pretty crazy, especially when you're like a trans person who's, I believe, at some point gonna tell us about all the harassment they've been getting. I don't know, man. It just seems totally wild. Just come on video and just be like, yeah, I doxed this guy. Yeah, I doxed this guy. So that's kind of fucked up, no? That's kind of like a fucked up thing you did. That's kind of like, you should be kind of like ashamed of that, no? Am I crazy? Thank you, Nick. Too bad for you. 3 times gifted. Neighbors Wi-Fi. Never donate or like. Thank you, Nick. Too bad for you. Though that is a great reminder to tell you guys to please like, subscribe, donate, buy a membership, gift a membership, buy a super chat if you can. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
And I was not expecting it to end up on a big platform. Why? Because I wasn't expecting it to outreach past Tipster and his moderators.
So this is not a good excuse. I was not expecting this video that I put on a public platform and posted in the self-promo channel of Chud's Discord. That's where they put this. I was not expecting this video where I doxed someone on a public platform to leave my close circle. That's not a fucking excuse. No. That's not a fucking excuse at all. You were not only is that a total lie because you were promoting the video. It's the idea that you weren't trying to get this to leave the circle. Total fucking lie. Complete and utter fucking lie. But also, just because you were trying to dox people in a closed circle on a public platform, that doesn't absolve you. Even if that was the case, that does not absolve you. Retard.
Legally, it isn't quite doxing, but since it reaches the bigger audience it did, it can be considered that.
Unless you're in California, doxing isn't even a legal concern anyway. Thank you for the $10, Nerd Angle. Thank you. Very generous.
Super chatted $9.99. $9.99 from Nerd Angle. I wasn't expecting to learn Tipster's salary when I checked it out her video in self-promo.
Thank you for the $9.99. Nerd Angle. I don't think anyone was.
That I'm done explaining it. I don't care if people want to call it doxing. Yes, it was doxing when it came to that point. I did not reveal his full name or disclose his address. Legally, that is the limit. Now, I did receive some criticism that I should have shown a lot less. Valid. I'll remember that for next time.
Collecting public info is against the law anyway, right? That's no, in California, even if it's public, because a lot of doxing is done through white pages. It's not just if it's malicious. It has to. It's because the doxing provision is only like a sub provision, like a added thing to the already existing cyber harassment laws that California has. So it already has to rise to the level of online harassment, and then doxing is just this extra provision for sentencing.
If I do that again, I seem to have.
It's only California.
Who found my other social media platform? Now I may have that link. That's fine.
The UK, I think, our cyber, like online harassment shit is pretty cringe. But
that said, I had a wonderful compliment of being compared to Colleen Ballinger for trying to help a 16-year-old person who was struggling with being left alone and neglected by her parents. I didn't know I could be compared to such a big celebrity, but I guess here I am. And somehow the crime of me reaching out to help rescue somebody who's left to live on their own, that shouldn't.
It's I mean, obviously the Colleen Ballinger comparison, it's not about sending underwear. It's about the fact that you were trying to like be like a mentor type figure for kids online, basically, right?
Be for years on end is apparently comparative to sending a minor underwear, lingerie. Given my rapid rise to celebrity status on YouTube. I might as well kick off this video by saying, if you've guessed my gender, you are correct. You're 100% right. Yes, that is my gender. To address another question, do I look like a angry...
Yeah, so I pre-watched up until a little bit into this, because this is horrific. This is horrendous. The next at least 3 or so minutes, guys, I don't even... I'm not even sure how many jokes I can make, because it's just non-stop, like, victim and identity coding. So here's all my oppression points, my illnesses, and it's fucking wretched. It's seriously a slog. We're about to go into a serious slog, an absolute onslaught.
Marshmallow liberal cuck. Yes, I do. I agree. I did not choose this body. You can barely judge me by my cover.
No one would.
Cover.
No one would.
Exactly. I must be a liberal cuck just because I look like...
Also, can we... Sorry, I didn't choose this body. The marshmallow part, you absolutely are choosing. You are choosing because you sit around eating and not doing exercise all day.
Like one. Am I also a weirdo? Yes. As you can see, perfectly comfortable with being my weirdo self. Do I want to be like everybody else? No. Who does? Is there other people who look like
there's
me?
Being a weirdo, and then there's like talking to 16-year-olds online. I understand not wanting to just like mindlessly conform to every standard that's pushed upon you. I get that. But then there's like talking to kids online, talking to abused kids online and offering them a place to live. That's kind of like a different thing. That's kind of, we're talking about a different problem now than just not conforming to what society wants from you.
Itself. Yeah, I at least saw one doppelganger. There's probably plenty of others who look very similar to me and that have quite a aggressive voice on YouTube. Do I appreciate people who represent me? No. Do I appreciate the people who cry fat acceptance when I sit here as my fat self?
Get in the pod, eat the bugs. Do not message 16-year-olds online. Deep, what are you trying to express with that sentence? What's the... All right, okay.
No. I do not appreciate the people who have spoken over me and for me as a transgender and someone who is literally on multiple chronic conditions. So, for those people, I would appreciate not speaking over me and not talking to me. Or not talking for me. Especially when it comes to people like Keffals, who have basically weaponized the movement into her own agenda. That said, I have received some more information based on a close-to-home situation in my community, my modding group, that apparently the
my modding group
person who created the emulator for Super Nintendo,
my Janny Cabal,
ROMs, has actually been harassed by Kiwi Farms.
Is that Bew?
Does that make Kiwi Farms illegal? Probably not. There has to be more evidence against the owner. Does that mean that Kiwi Farms did nothing? Well, probably not. Probably has. My speculation is there might be a history back to somebody else I knew in the modding speedrunning community as well.
Listen, this is a thing with these freaks as well. They think they're the main character so hard. They are so desperate to be the main character and the victim of every circumstance. It goes back to some other people I knew in the modding community, in the docs, in the doxing community, in the digital activist community. It's so ill. It's so fucking ill. Well, that was what they were saying in the first video, wasn't it? They were a digital activist. It's crazy. Why do you have to invent this whole story for yourself. Well, I understand why, to be honest. It's because they have such a sad, pathetic life that it's better to cope with an imagined persona. But still, like, who do you think you're fooling? Who do you think you're fooling?
But that might be a whole bigger investigation. As far as that goes, did Keffals at all help the movement?
A whole big investigation. You're not investigating shit. You're not investigating shit.
Against Kiwi Farms? No. She used it as a grifting point. She used it as a talking point to garner herself more virality, more popularity. Just to cry and get more sympathy and money from people. So in terms of Keffals, that is an obvious concern that she has taken and weaponized talking points of people like myself and my community into other issues. Now, when it comes to Tipster, that was becoming a concern for me as well, because he tends to come in and go, yo, hey, Keffals, I want to support trans people. I want to be part of that. And I see the common trend with him is that he will go into certain communities, certain groups, to try and change his subject topic of choice into something else. Now, he seems to be very stupid in that regard, that he can't do his research at all. When he talks about certain topics, there is a level of...
See, look, you are a retard. You're a Tipster. I hate to say this. Tipster is 100 times, 1,000 times smarter than you, NickoNerd. Tipster is 1,000 times more intelligent and more educated than you, NickoNerd. But it's just... it doesn't do his research on what? What's a point you think Tipster's wrong on? And why do you think he's wrong? Show us some contrasting evidence. NickoNerd. Oh, let's listen to this. This isn't even true, by the way. Tipster doesn't try and change the conversation to anything. Tipster is just trying to... he just moved into a new group of people, started changed all his opinions, and started grifting from a different audience. That's all it is. That's all it is. He's not changing the conversations. He doesn't have a fucking power to change shit. He just has to ride the waves like most other people do. Like pretty much anyone does.
Topic of choice into something else. Now, he seems to be very stupid in that regard, that he can't do his research at all. When he talks about certain topics, there is a level of journalistic integrity that has to be followed up by when you're doing this sort of thing. When you're
Yeah, Tipster. Yeah, Tipster. You should have had more journalistic integrity when you were pumping out commentary slop.
Investigating or doing this
talking about the latest Moist Critical Twitter beef. He said, wow, Moist Critical just said something heckin' transphobic on twitter.com. You need more journalistic integrity, Tipster.
Work into these matters of interest and issues. You do have to have a level of flexibility and openness to people who may be a little off edge, especially, or rather on edge. When you talk about people who are trans, we are dealing with a lot of people who have suicidal issues. And in terms of that, that is where the mistreatment of a new friend that I've made due to that circumstance.
So this is the 16-year-old. We're about to start talking about the 16-year-old here, okay? Suicidal new friend. That is the 16-year-old. That is the kid.
Has encountered in his group, in his community. Because in terms of being part of these communities and Keffals, is myself and another, this younger member, became part of this group in order to seek the support. Yes, we're gonna...
Yeah, I'm insane. Do what I want. I'm insane. Do exactly what I want and don't criticize me. I'm insane.
Be a little bit unhinged. That is the nature of dealing with these issues. In fact, the people who are probably not acting out and treating everybody else as unhinged are really repressing a lot of issues.
So you listen, it's not me saying that. It's not me saying that. That's NickoNerd saying that, guys. It's not me saying that any trans people who don't appear to be outwardly insane are just hiding it. It's not me saying that. It's NickoNerd saying that, okay, guys? I didn't make that statement. I don't necessarily co-sign that, but NickoNerd does believe that, okay?
In order to seek the support. Yes, we're gonna be a little bit unhinged. That is the nature of dealing with these issues. In fact, the people who are probably not acting out and treating everybody else as unhinged are really repressing a lot of issues that they're denying themselves of. They're robbing themselves.
See, guys, the normal cool trans friend you've got offline is actually the craziest one of all. That's NickoNerd saying that. That's NickoNerd. That's not me. It's not me telling you that. The one that's totally not online and not like those crazy ones, that's the worst one. That's not me saying that. I didn't say that. I disavow that. I think that's disgusting.
Of being open and honest about their stress, about these anxieties, because there is a lot of harassment on the topic of transgenders, especially non-binary. Now, if anybody's curious about where I stand on my non-binary identity,
I wasn't
20 years
wondering,
ago when
really.
I was 14 years old, I had looked into being agender. I dismissed it at the time because I didn't think it made sense to me.
Smart kid. Smart kid.
I think it started making more sense years after the red pill anti-trans stuff, or anti-non-binary.
Around the time of some head trauma, perhaps? Around the time of some serious head trauma?
Era came about. It took me a bit. At first I was like, this isn't right. Because, like, I thought, at that point, I was moving into a whole... pushing myself into more of a feminine, outwardly feminine presentation. I figured that would make me happier, as I was being affirmed by a boyfriend at the time who was very affirmative of me being more feminine, of my femininity.
Oh, dear.
It's part of me. And since I stand in between on the spectrum in terms of being agender, kind of stuck in the middle in terms of that.
Another one on the spectrum, guys. If you hadn't guessed already, it's another one on the spectrum. Great to hear.
Femininity is not a problem for me, as it is part of my identity, but like I denied myself of my masculine side as well, in order to kind of, because I was actually experiencing a lot of positive emotions, but it was like I was forcing myself or pushing myself into that kind of mentality, and it was post-memory loss, so after some post-operative cognitive issue I had for a couple of years. Given that I had forgotten my non-binary self, I had lost already a lot of memories, so when I was with this guy, I was being affirmed to be more feminine, to be my feminine self, and I felt great until I had a whole panic when I saw myself in the mirror one day, and it was absolutely not comfortable for me. Now, there was a limit where I was like casual dress, feminine, with like certain skirts I was fine with. You know, nothing too crazy until I got into a...
So I don't want to say too much, guys. I'm going to be honest. I'm a little bit concerned because I don't know where the line is on these things. How much can I deny this stuff? I think we'll just try and get through this, to be honest. I think we'll just speed this up.
skirt, and then it caused me some massive dysphoria. I had a whole panic attack and disassociation. At that point, I think triggering that level of emotions during that moment and day, I had a lot to process about what I was starting to remember about my past. And eventually the relationship did move on before I was able to figure out more about myself, but, you know, things didn't work out you know, through intimacy and other things, but otherwise left off with a good memory despite some relationship complications with for the past. He was a great guy, nothing wrong with that, but I don't think he would accept me as my non-binary self anyways. So in terms of that, we left with the relationship like, yeah, things are not working out, you know, in terms of other things not related to the gender stuff that came out way after that. That you wanted to leave with happier memories and not, you know, end up with hurting each other more. And I think it was a good way to leave. I don't think relationships would last very long. So in terms of that, without going into any more details, that was my journey into rediscovering my non-binary transgender identity.
Oh, great. Okay.
I am going to transition, not as a full
rest easy,
man.
Guys. Okay, thank God.
That is not how it works for me.
Okay, well, this
for me,
I thought we were done
be
with this. Like,
mostly androgynous. I already kind of fit the androgynous look, so whatever. Moving on into the proper topic that I want to focus on is the issue with Tipster. Keffals have kind of started to fall out in terms of relevancy, which is perfectly fine. I think we should further ignore her and move on so that she kind of falls off, because in terms of impact and
deep. I love listening to the voices and stories of people who take psychic damage from reflective surfaces.
Influence, she has already climbed all the way up to the point where she blew up and fucked up herself to do what she has done, and I feel like that's enough for her to be falling down. In terms of Tipster, it is more of a concern for less relevant, smaller channels like him, smaller influencers that are leeching into the trans community right now. And another concern comes up now in terms of his beef between Boogie and also...
Yo, thank you for the $1, Liberal Chad. Thank you very much.
Super chatted $1. $1
thank
from
you.
Liberal Alec.
He has started to creep in with Alec Gunter. And if nobody's familiar with that, do not worry. I shall bring that up in a moment. I myself am not familiar with Alec Gunter, nor have I ever interloped with his community or server. God bless. Thank God I haven't. In terms of him, though, he seems to have quite a lot of followers, possibly very older ones, considering how much he is such a boomer. And
aren't you like 40? Aren't you like 40? Aren't you like 40 years old? Aren't you like 45? Aren't you like a 50-year-old woman? 50-year-old... The NB. NB. Non-binary. Agender. I don't buy that this guy's like streaming to old people. I don't really buy that. Your agenda, which one?
And my concern falls into how
Alec Gunter was right.
Getting into these communities.
What do you mean by that? What was Alec Gunter right about exactly, Onyx?
And while there was this beef with Boogie, and then this whole thing where he was defending his lolly defense, as if that makes any sense, as if the criticisms to his defending Vaush's lolly porn folder is calling him a pedo. Like, that's ridiculous. Get over yourself. But it is pretty suspicious when you start defending lolly porn shown on Vaush's folder and not do any investigation yourself. Just go full balls in deep, defending it, and then still doubling down even after the fact has been proven to you several times, as Tipster has done. Now, what I'm trying to get into here...
It's impossible to listen to this fucking person talk for more than 2 seconds. It's genuinely... I start losing track so quick. It's crazy. It's actually nuts. I am constantly just like my brain... Like, this is what women on SSRIs feel like, I think. It's the brain zaps. They start talking. I'm just... Oh, sorry, where am I again? Where am I? Sorry, where am I?
Is a particular concern.
What are you talking about?
What topic?
What are you yapping about?
Subject matter that Tipster and perhaps Alec Gunter as well is getting
Sorry, I've lost
into,
track of the conversation.
And it is GamerGate 2.0. Now, in terms of GamerGate 2.0, GamerGate was always a thing. It's always been kind of running in the background for all these years.
No, it hasn't.
The problem with that is Tipster posting stuff like, oh, GamerGate 2.2 coming up because of Boogie. My concern is him trying to start up GamerGate 2.0 as a viral topic on the internet.
Tipster trying to start up GamerGate 2 as a viral topic. Yeah, I don't think that's a concern. I don't think that's a worry.
On YouTube. And to me, that is disgusting. Especially if he's trying to support trans people. That he also wants to...
Wait, but he's against GamerGate 2. Wasn't his thing against GamerGate 2 anyway?
Bring up GamerGate 2.0 and make it relevant again. So basically, he wants to fire up the pot for GamerGate 2.0. And
this
make
guy,
it a whole
this thing is so dumb. This person is such an idiot.
Explosive topic that is dangerous, going to cause a lot more harassment, hate campaigns against people who are trans and non-binary. So for Tipster to outright say GamerGate 2.2 is coming up, we should talk about it, is really aggravating to me. And
2.2.
to some extent,
Well, we've got a couple iterations on there. That's epic. That's epic. 2.2. That goes crazy.
I'm glad that the other people are like, GamerGate 2.0.
GamerGate 2.2, Operation Whoopocalypse.
Like, there's far more important topics to talk about, and I feel like no matter what
we will be street racing Brown away. I will be street racing Brown.
People just keep on creating drama, even if it's fake or not. It's like, if you don't want to be a drama YouTuber, why are you trying to start up more shit? And especially GamerGate 2.2, or 2.0, sorry, that is specifically gonna hurt trans people, maybe some other minority groups, such as Black BIPOC communities as well. So if he's gonna try and fire up that, I advise to click away from any video that brings up GamerGate 2.0 if you are...
Like your video.
You know, in support of this community, as well as a lot of modders in my community that are trans too. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, keep that in mind, huh?
As well,
huh? Let's say heckin' epic, wholesome trans modders in my community, okay, guys? So keep that in mind, alright, guys? Next time you're thinking about watching a video on GamerGate 2, think about NickoNerd's trans modder friends.
In terms of GamerGate 2.2 or 2.0, I gotta keep saying that. How about version 2? GamerGate 2, just electric boogaloo. This is like gonna affect people in my community, it's gonna bring up more political issues, and it's gonna cause more delays with our, you know, group. And I like to keep encouraging people to be more creative, and since we're just starting up with more creative projects, I'd hate to see that
get
squandered because of GamerGate 2.0 again. So, you know, for him, for a dirtbag like himself, coming into the...
I think this person plays at least. Jesus. Pokemon ROM hacks. They play Pokemon ROM hacks, I believe. I don't know if they've got friends who mod them. Infinite Fusion. Yeah, I think this person is a crypto-fascist, I agree. Like, this shit looks whack. I did see this last time I scrolled through all this shit. This shit looks so whack. The Pokemon designs are so goofy, dude. The fusions and shit. That is their avatar, yeah. That is the classic what you see, what you believe. It is a classic what you see, what you believe. Where are they? Why can't I find any decent footage of the Pokemon? Do you just speed through all the combat, really? You just spend all your time walking around doing nothing? Huh? NickoNerd? Huh? Look at that. See, look how shit this looks. What is this? Fucking egg, whatever the fuck it's called. With Jigglypuff. It looks like shit. Scrambled egg in the microwave. Oh, man. Pokemon Unbound does mock this. It's true. I dropped it, though, because I said do shit that time.
Trans community, build up a following, and then to reignite GamerGate 2.0 for his not drama content is really infuriating. I just think there is this constant drive for people on YouTube and whatnot to continue creating content, and for
what content creators have to keep making content. Oh, that's just wow! What an insightful content.
It's ironic because he has enough of an income, which I highlighted.
Well, who cares? Maybe he'd rather be doing this. What the fuck? What does that matter to anything?
To support himself without having to do this. So it is kind of ridiculous to me that he can't just go out and touch some fucking grass.
He can. He probably does. I imagine he goes to work every day.
And decides to stir the shit pot on the internet. Maybe it's not enough for him. I don't know. Maybe it's not enough.
Do you go to work every day, NickoNerd? Do you go into the office every day, NickoNerd?
That he wants this attention and he wants to feel relevant, because in his real life he probably isn't. So for me to come here and be as rudimentary as possible, and as openly myself as I can be, probably flies in the face of a lot of content creators.
NickoNerd, 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 NickoNerd.
And to an extent, a lot of creators I feel for. I understand they are trying to drive an income. And that is why I am trying to expose people like Tipster. Because for people who already have a high income, shouldn't be on this platform, and shouldn't be meddling with issues that they do not bother to investigate or do any level of research on. Especially when he does none. Like, he doesn't know how to use Google at all. Like, he doesn't even know how to ask it a simple question. Because
I'm listening to this next to my black friends and they're getting nervous.
Does he understand how to ask a question to on a basic level? No, he doesn't even talk to people, apparently. So my fundamental issues are not necessarily apparent. While I am all for the monetary system, I am obviously a socialist. I am not going full-blown communist. My issue with YouTube and the content creation...
Guys, speaking of socialism, okay, guys, we need some wealth redistribution here, okay, guys? I think that was a great time to remind you, halfway through the video here, to like, subscribe, donate, buy a membership, gift a membership, buy a super chat if you can. You can also join the Discord, discord.gg/Kuihman, twitter.com/Kuihman. Follow me there. Also, there's merch on the channel page. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
As like this constant churning out of content and videos is a side effect of our economy and our situation as a whole. There's a lot
open your wallets,
open
your hearts,
especially in the millennial
open your
generation,
wallets, open your hearts.
which is ironic given the circumstance that if they want people to still buy houses and buy their cars to continue pumping toxic fumes into the air to continue the collapse of our world, it's really funny that they don't bother caring about the millennials who are going to vote for these politicians in, right? So it is unfortunate that people are forced to work on a daily basis. I am one for the stance that housing and food should be provided free within terms of course, regulations. And like, obviously there still needs to be a monetary system. I wish for UBI for everyone so that there isn't this constant chaos. In terms of that, I kind of...
Well, we care. We care. The viewers here really care that you want UBI. I'm sure it's a very well-founded position that you've researched intensely and could defend in an argument.
see a lot of content on YouTube kind of dwindling out. And I don't know if it's just
Yo, my UBI coming in from Liberal Chad. Let's fucking go with the 5 gifted. The 5 gifted from Liberal Cud, as the TTS would say. That is huge. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
But I like to move on to the more artistic side of YouTube. I have actually been watching some miniature dollhouse art and all that. I might even make a little custom guitar thing that I want to craft. I have an idea of my own, so I'm going to be doing that. Honestly, I've always been an artist. I've always loved to do 3D work. So in terms of that, I've always been a fan of artistic endeavors. And this political side of YouTube just seemed to have impacted me in my life because of my journey to go on with my transition and finding support with that process. But even joining transgender communities on like Discord and that has...
I'm sure these play. This is horrific. I want to just let the notifications play and we'll wind it back. Okay.
Of artistic endeavors, and this political side of YouTube just seemed to have impacted me in my life.
Endeavors.
Journey to go on with my transition and finding support with that process. But even joining transgender communities on like Discord and that has a lot of toxic word policing, and my god, they'll even police you using the terms AFAB or AMAB. That's how extreme it gets. Like, yeah, I slipped up a lot when I was not addressing someone or people by the proper pronouns, but of course I was just dealing with fresh memory issues where I had literally 1 to 5 second memory, so it did take me a while to get to this point to be able to speak on these topics in terms of, you know, getting on with my life and moving to this point. So, yes.
Actual goldfish. Goldfish chimera. Oh no.
And there it goes again. Yeah, so, trying to find help within those communities. There's lots of mental health support servers and that on Discord, which for some reason just has people who don't know how to help, probably. I mean, or do the opposite. So yeah, I mean, I've came into mental health support servers, come out with my current situation, they go, oh, it must be your fault. Or like, most people would not say that, you know, considering that at some point I was talking about the abuse from my uncle. And yeah, it's just crazy to think there's all these communities that are supposed to be supportive, and there's nothing but bullies in there. And
yeah, this is what I said last time, right? Like, why the fuck are you going around trying to like help 16-year-olds that you find on Discord that you think are suicide? Like, you are a mess. You're an insane mess, and that's what you're spending your time doing.
For Tipster like that to come in and think, you know, the trans community doesn't have a lot of problems in terms of his moderators are, some of them are trans people. It's interesting to me that he doesn't do any iota of research or even listen to other people. That's why I say I've picked at him over mocking someone with hoarding. And yes, I have hoarding issues myself. I do organize as best as I can and clean up.
Oh, man.
That said, I wouldn't go out.
This is the person trying to move a 16-year-old they found on Discord into their house, by the way. I've got hoarding issues. Nice one. Okay.
Mock somebody for that. I struggle with it. Obviously, my room is messy. I've currently even had to go for an application to get home services. That's how severe I am right now. I have not had the energy, and at the end of the day, I end up being extremely cranky, and I've taken it out on my roommate. In fact, today I just happened to feel really good. Yesterday I felt like shit. And my roommate basically said, "You were a bitch yesterday." Okay? Because that's just being human. I'd rather be in my good state as much as I can, but that's mental health struggles. And I'm up and down. I have suicidal ideation struggles. Pardon me. Obviously, I have speech impediment issues due to my autism, and I'm still trying to wait for getting help at a mental psychiatric unit.
Doing better than Dark Viper, at least. Doing better than Dark Viper.
Before I recall that the wait list was like 3 years when I spoke with my doctor on a subject like that. But who knows? Sometimes it goes like to 10 years for some people. I have been getting lots of therapy. Doesn't always get rid of the issues. Not everybody's going to be 100%. In fact, I would say I did some pretty awful stuff. So when I was, I didn't obviously act rational.
You put a bingo card on the screen of medical and psychological issues. It's like fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue every time. Those like 3 spaces, dude.
Like after I lost my mother. Even if I was like, I mean, I can't do anything about it. I have to move on with my life. It is what it is. It is a shame that something like that happens when you lose a family member. But it still gets to you, I think. And, you know.
I feel like chronic Lyme's, like, I feel that's fallen by the wayside. I feel like it got mocked too much. They don't use that one as much anymore.
While it is talked about online, like, oh, we're not therapists, we're not specialists, we're not experts. You don't have to be an expert to be able to sympathize with someone. You could at least have some empathy. And maybe that's the problem. There's way too much sociopathy enabled on, like, the internet. On social media. Like, there's way too much dismissal of, like, oh, you're talking so much about something that doesn't make sense to me, so I'm just gonna call you crazy. You know, just because somebody puts out, like, maybe a novel's worth of text, doesn't mean that they're not making sense.
This person is not making sense. You're not making sense.
Might be coming from. And that's the problem. I think everybody comes from a different background. That not a lot of people do comprehend how somebody else grows up in their situation. So it is hard to understand how people's mannerisms are. But that doesn't mean I'm just gonna assume outright that they're being intentionally malicious. So I feel like that's where I stand. I feel like this video is getting long enough.
12 more minutes, guys. I feel like this video is getting long enough. Goes for another 12 minutes.
I feel like I covered a lot of the personal topics that I wanted to cover. As far as that goes, I don't know how much I'm going to cover. I am investigating into a lot of other side topics. I've also taken on...
We're going to do it, guys. We're getting through it. We're getting through it, okay?
Kind of a
We're going to finish the video.
Trying to find that mysterious song, and I just think, like, It's one of those things that probably not going to work out. But I'm, like, obsessed with, like, coming up with solutions for things, and I just... it's the one thing that bugs me, and I'm sure it bugs a lot of internet sleuths. That's the problem. I am investigating into a lot. I covered a lot of the personal topics that I wanted to cover. As far as that goes, I don't know how much I'm going to cover. I am investigating into a lot of other side topics. I've also taken on kind of a side hobby of trying to find that mysterious song, and I just think, like,
Like, it's more of this just making up a total fucking fictional life that you do not live. You're not You're not an internet sleuth finding lost media songs. That is not even to the extent that that presentation, which it doesn't, even to the extent that that presentation of a person exists, which it doesn't, even to that extent, that's not you. You've never done that. You've never found any lost media. You've never identified anything in some big that everyone was looking for. You've never done anything. There's no evidence of you ever having done anything of note, anything of worth. Why are you making up this total fiction? It's just complete. It's so embarrassing. These people actually think there probably are people that will buy it when they say this shit. Crazy.
It's one of those things that probably not gonna work out. But I'm like obsessed with like coming up
12
with
subscribers, why do I care? First of all, not 12 subscribers, 12 views, 52 subscribers. So first of all, you're retarded, Karmic. Learn to fucking read. Learn how the YouTube layout works. Second of all, Karmic, you care because this person doxed for Tipster several videos ago and their video got circulated a lot.
Just, it's the one thing that bugs me, and I'm sure it bugs a lot of internet sleuths. That's the problem. I have too many distractive side projects going on. And
you don't know the
due to
YouTube
my
layout.
fatigue, I haven't been able to exactly make a video. In terms of the script, it is kind of just sitting there. I have been editing it. Do I feel like doing it yet? No. I have to have the capacity to do that and speak on the script. But that said, I don't know how much it could be said that was already said, other than cleaning up what I said. Like
this is just
the whole
we need to get through this.
Misrepresentation of what I meant. I feel like Tipster's still gonna get his shit handed to him, because that just seems to be how the karma works. For some reason, I just have seen the karma.
Would you get his shit handed to him? Would you get his shit handed to him? How much more shit could he possibly get handed to him?
In my favor, against people like him.
The guy's in the dirt. The guy's dead.
Down in his content. I don't think he absolutely cares about making his content better. Maybe not until he loses his real job. And I don't think anybody should really meddle with that. I think I also recall somebody brought up...
yeah, just your whole first video was about how he works in a school and defends Lolly. Nice one.
Point that I should have brought it up was the place he worked at. I did. I did try and get contact. They seem to be unwilling to, or anybody should really meddle with that. I think I also recall somebody brought up a point that I should have brought it up was the place he worked at. I did. I did try and get contact.
I hate this person. I hate this person. I wish the worst on this person. I wish terrible, terrible things. A plague upon your family. A plague upon your family for 1,000 generations. Plague be upon your family. Genetic plague. I hate this person. I truly fucking hate this person. Too late. Yeah, okay, maybe. That's why. Let's come up with a different punishment. This is disgusting. This is disgusting. Going trying to contact Tipster L plus Curse of the Nile, yes. Try to contact the school Tipster works at over him defending a lolly online. You are scum. You are scum. You are actual dirt. You are filth. You are scum. You are dirt. You are below human. I do not see you with any work. I see you as an animal, as a beast. As a beast, as livestock. Livestock to be herded and...
Contact. They seem to be unwilling to, or unable to, keep up with the amount of demands, maybe. I don't think I'm the only one, obviously, trying to get in contact with that location, that company or building. Not really company, but you know. But since it would be a concern, I don't think there's really much they could do about it. He's literally just being an idiot on YouTube. I could probably show them the video, and they know who he is in the workplace. What would they do about it? Probably nothing. And at that point, I don't think it really matters. Because I think there is just a point where it depends on what is actually going on in his circle, and that's his business. I feel like it's easy enough. Someone like him will obviously eat the shit he shits out because he is that kind of person. And I mean, if any of the moderators from his chat of his community is watching this, you know, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed there was no mitigation. There was no efforts to take someone to the side. You just created a stressful situation, and of course, the person did lash out. And to have no proof of the alt account that private messaged the other moderators and sent them gore, still doesn't make sense to me why they would accuse her of that when she was clearly in too much emotional distress and talking to me during that whole fiasco to be on an alt. So,
who cares? They probably just gave you a stupid reason to ban this person because they were sick of you fucking protecting some 16-year-old you're trying to get moving into your house.
These allegations come from, I find it hard to believe.
Into your disgusting pit of hoarding. Your little Smog's Dragon's Den, where you're hoarding items and laying atop the pile. Disgusting freak. Doxing freak. Life-ruining freak. And you're trying to move a legal child into your gross pit where you sit around doxing people online. That's fucking epic. That's fucking epic. You are just such a disgusting wretch.
And it's provided by Tipster was a censored image of a meme with a cat saying, "I like my people like I like my tea," underwater. I mean, yeah, it's a pretty hard statement on its own.
The Sarlacc pit.
Like, oh, it's just a meme around. She is still young. So I feel like that is really unfair. How there wasn't really a, you know, take them, time out them, mute them for a bit, talk to them at the side, try and help them, try and offer, like, okay, what are you going through? Can we sort it out? Absolutely none of that. Instead, she was treated like absolute shit, and that was what I held issue with. I was already banned previously because I had an argument with Tipster about...
Well, they claimed that this 16-year-old was from an abusive household and was suicidal. So they offered them a place to live across the country. They could run away and come and live at their own place. But they're asexual, so there's no concerns there, obviously.
The hoarding video he mocked, he seemed to lash out at me in the Discord whenever I had a comment on a post that, whatever comment I meant to make is like, oh, you don't research into it, do you? Yeah, I do if it has any relevance to any interest I have, but I'm going to speculate. That's how I work. I always speculate because when I speculate, it leads to investment opinions. I was already banned previously because I had an argument with Tipster about the hoarding video he mocked.
Oh, sorry. So they weren't banned over the 16-year-old. They did refuse to ban the 16-year-old, but I guess they got demodded, maybe over refusing to ban the 16-year-old, and then banned from Tipster's Discord over attacking him for a hoarding video. I guess he mocked a hoarder, like a TLC video of some hoarder or some shit. And she was like, oh, so they were like, Tipster, please don't make fun of people who collect up loads of shit and fill their house with it and make it into a disgusting mess. Tipster, please don't mock people who do that.
He seemed to lash out at me in the Discord whenever I had a comment on a post that, whatever comment I meant to make is like, oh, you don't research into it, do you? Yeah, I do if it has any relevance to any interest I have, but I'm going to speculate. That's how I work. I always speculate because when I speculate, it leads to investigation if it at all becomes a bigger issue or a bigger discussion. That said, not every little thing needs to be investigated, but when it comes to the point where the issue gets bigger and bigger and you still double down on defending it without looking into it, that's on you, buddy. So, yeah, I'm still ticked about that because I'm still kind of dealing with helping my friend, and I call her a friend. Because I am a friend at this point.
It was Asmongold. Oh, yeah, it was, wasn't it? He was mocking Asmongold. Yeah, oh my god.
I have been with her when she had that emotional issue. Thanks to Tipster, I became a friend with her because of him. So, if anybody has to blame with an older person being a friend to a minor, Tipster has only himself to blame for that. You can blame yourself, Tipster, if you have a real problem with me. It's so crazy to me, because I think it is true that it's like he'll say, oh, people are too quick to pedal jacket, and he does it himself. Straight up projection. In fact, you're really quick to slap on accusing people of things that you have no evidence for yourself. So without any solid proof, then it's nothing to me. In fact, it's pretty wild to me that he would even take the accusations at face value. It's like, just because you appointed people as moderators doesn't mean they're like immune to being, you know, the better people just because they don't talk.
Who cares? Who cares if someone gets banned? Who gives a fuck?
You know, that doesn't mean they're not using you for that status, you know. That's the problem. There's certain moderators that I have seen that are just using him. And go off, I guess. It's kind of community he's built up. So sooner or later, people like myself will realize it sucks. I like to be in private communities and chats and discords, as I've always been since the 90s and the IRC chat days. That was just the thing that I was into. So that's it. I feel like I've probably covered enough here, and I've extended this time even more going on. So yeah, it's going to be a rambling mess. This is just mock-up videos. I don't think I'll ever go full sparkly professional unless maybe I could get an editor. But otherwise, yeah, I just don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about the quality of my videos. I don't give a shit about...
Yeah, this person's in their 40s, yeah.
What other creators will think of me at that point. I think they at least they're focusing on the proper issues, and I admire that, and I think that's great. So I really don't care otherwise. In terms of people who have those communities and are choosing their conversation points with people, I will be monitoring you. I'm not too worried about certain content creators, but a particular one that I've started to brush off, what have been trying to share info, I'll be watching them. And if I come up with more information about any odd suspicions about the weird behaviors I have about them, I will come up with it. And I think it's about what other creators will think of me at that point. I think they should, at least they're focusing on the proper issues, and I admire that, and I think that's great. So I really don't care otherwise. In terms of people who have those communities and are choosing their
like trans
conversation points with people, I will be monitoring you. I'm not too worried about certain content creators, but a particular one that I've started.
So I mean, is that actually just like yeah, I've doxed before and I'll dox again? Is that actually what's happening here? Because that's your monitoring so far. Is just posting docs basically.
Brush off what have been trying to share info. I'll be watching them. And if I come up with
this person's just dirt. This person is just total dirt.
About the weird.
Yeah, exactly. Alec Gunter, watch out, bro.
Behaviors I have about them, I will come up with it, and I think it's interesting because there's some other topic.
Harboring Tipster.
And I'm hoping better judgment, that benefit of the doubt. You know,
this digital activist is on your ass.
They've been a pretty chill person otherwise, and their topics are really positive and a lot of good activism there.
You want Desmond Gold?
But if there's anybody who comes across as like ignoring certain top conversations, when you can see it, you are basically being potentially ignorant, and I'll keep an eye on that. I do not appreciate a certain vibe. When I get a certain vibe, it does turn out a certain way. But I know that I posted a particular video and people have been like, eh. So I get it. I won't push it too much, but if that's how they feel, I'm not that kind of person. It's just how that video came out. So yeah.
Well, you are that kind of person because you just double down on it.
Don't know how else I can end a video. I really suck at it. Going away because I love talking. I love going out.
Yeah, you're terrible at it. You're terrible at it.
Maybe I can.
Please do less of it. I can't imagine being trapped in a conversation with this person in public. I would do something horrible.
At least come off a little better, a little bit more approachable this way. No, I'm not going to be a vicious stalker or doxer. I don't have that patience or time. In terms of finding information, like I did with Tipster, it only takes me like 5 minutes. Literally, that's all it took. Because for him, he's dumb.
Nobody thinks these are complicated processes. Nobody thinks these are complicated. Nobody who's been around on the internet for long enough thinks it's a complicated thing to do.
Enough to have his accounts attached to his online personality, YouTube personality. So, you know, that's why I was able to find his information. Literally 5 minutes. And it's really stupid, but that's how everybody could find his information. Anybody who knows how. And Kiwi Farms knows him. And I'm sure they already know where he lives as well. But do they care? Probably not. Because, yeah, he is literally a lolcow. He is just a joke for them. Anybody that's
what do you think you are, freak?
So yeah, just all
fucking. You're sorry, no. This is a full blown horror cow here.
Situation. I'll have to investigate more into Kiwi Farms as well. I have to look into that.
Oh yeah, that sounds like a great idea. I'm on Team NickoNerd. Look into Kiwi Farms. I'm on Team NickoNerd personally. Me personally, I'm choosing to support Team NickoNerd here. I think investigating and going after Kiwi Farms would be a really good choice, actually. That's a great idea. That is a great idea.
With a particular topic individual. Yeah, I don't know how much information I'll get.
I changed my mind. Guys. Team uncritical support for Team NickoNerd. This brave digital activists fight against Kiwi Farms will be beginning soon. Can't wait to see it.
Maybe I can touch in on a meeting on that. All right. So thanks for watching. If you have stuck around this
Keffals
long,
too.
And subscribe if you're interested in me. That's all I got for you. Okay, have a good one.
I won't. Not after that. Thank you, Smokestack. Thank you. Oh, Jesus. What an AIDS video that was. That was absolutely horrific. A real slog.